Exciting, we got a delivery today. Look at this packing. Something I've been waiting for a while. It's my LAP3 TCU tune. Hey there, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today's video is going to be a little bit of testing. I just got a new thing in the mail. It's the LAP3 TCU Stage 2 tune. I bought this off a guy in one of the Facebook groups, so it is a used one. Basically what I'm going to test is LAP3 worth the price? It carries a pretty heavy price tag. There's very cheap alternatives like Torque, I think is a couple $100, and then you got Logic, which is mid-range, and then of course the LAP3. When I went onto their site and optioned it out, I think it came to about $1,500 US. I am Canadian, so in Canadian dollars, that's right around $2,000 for a TCU tune. So the biggest reason people want to change out their TCU is it changes your shift points and your shifting pressure. But another main reason people want to change their TCUs out or put a tuned TCU in is for the launch. Now the stock launch is around 1 PSI. Everybody out there who has a Stinger knows launching off stock is not great. So they'll either do a brake snip. Most of them are now just doing boost launch harness because it's less intrusive. It's probably $20 in parts, if that, and take you about 5 minutes to construct one, and then you just plug it into your fuse. The whole point is to build better boost off your launch. You want to be able to take off the line a little quicker than what the stock limitations are. However, you don't want to be launching off 8, 9, 10 PSI. It's very hard on these transmissions. And if you go to the LAP3 website, they only offer the Stage 2 tune because it is the safest for these cars. But they do have in their instructions how to use it, they tell you not to build over 5 pounds of boost, and they highly recommend launching about 1900 to 2000 RPMs, I believe. And of course, staying under that 5 pounds of boost. So either or, 1900 to 2000 RPMs or under 5 pounds boost. That's the best way to save your transmission. Of course, another way is to not heat the transmission up. So I will take a look at my JB4 now, see what my trans temps are. All right, so we're nice and cool. I'm just going to do one launch off the stock. I'm going to do it on the same road. I'm running map 4 on my JB4. I do not have an ECU tune. I do have E30 in the tank, and I will do the same pull in the same spot with around the same temperatures, the IATs and transmission, as close as I can get it. And we'll see how much difference it makes off the draggy. I'll put the draggy up and we'll see if we save any time. Some guys are claiming they save half a second on their 0 to 60, or 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second. So it depends. It all depends on where you are, temperatures outside. There's lots of variables that can change your 0 to 60 or quarter miles times. So I will do a quick pull here. Then I'll go back, and I'm sure you've seen how to put the TCU in, but I'll go over it quick. It takes about 5 minutes, very easy process. And then we'll do some testing with a new TCU in. Same map on the JB4, and we'll see where we're at. All right, we'll get set up here for the factory launch. So traction control, stability, all off. There we go. Sport mode, check. Turn around on my private road here. And we're set up. Let's do this. Factory launch test. All right, we just finished our quarter mile pull off the factory boost launch control. We did a 4.77 0 to 60 and a 12.8 quarter mile, which is definitely not impressive by any means, but it's to be expected. I think you can build 1 pound boost off the factory launch. There's a lot of lag off the line, and you lose a lot of your time right there. My best time is a 3.7 0 to 60, and that's off the boost launch harness. I think the quarter-mile time for that was an 11:09 as well. So we'll go stick in the LAP3 TCU and see how much of a difference it makes and if it's really worth the cost that they charge for it. All right, so if you don't know, your TCU is very easy to change. It's located on the driver's side, just under the hood. That's it right there. You're going to be popping out 4 bolts. Let's see, 1 there, 1 down there, and then 2 more on this side. You'll unplug it. See this little tab here? You push it down like that and pull this back like this. See how it comes back? First, I'm going to unhook the negative on my battery in the trunk there. I just like to do that when I'm working with any electronics. So if you haven't unhooked your negative before, you're just going to want to go where the spare tire is. And you can see it right there. That goes down to your battery. On a side note, you see all this sound deadener I put in the wintertime. I didn't do a video. I did test the decibels to see if it decreased any road noise. I got like a 2 decibel difference. I think you'd have to do the inside panels behind there and a lot more than just what I did, but thought I'd try it out. So it's going to be a 12 mil on that negative. And we'll just tuck it off to the side. Don't want it really grounding out on anything. Leave that there. I'm going to need this. I probably won't need the 12 mil. And we'll go around front and take out the TCU. Alrighty, so we'll remove this TCU, and I bet you dollars to donuts it's a 10 mil. I got a 10 mil here, and it's definitely a 10 mil. Very handy tool here. Keeps everything stuck. Because I am horrible, and I lose stuff all the time. Hope my head's not in the way. I think the smarter way is just crack it loose and spin it off with your fingers. That way you have a less chance of going fishing for a nut. Okay, nuts are loose. So remember, you just push this little locking tab here. And you're going to want to slide your thing back right there. And you just pull it back. Pushes up the plug. Then unplug it. Slide your TCU out. We'll get our LAP3 TCU here. And we'll just slide it on the studs there. Good. Spin on another 2. This is such an easy TCU to swap out. It's really nice. Just snug it up. Before I plug it in, I'm just visually inspecting my pins inside there. Make sure they are all there for one. Nothing's bent. As you can see inside that, it's very, very fine. So you want to not force it in. It should just clip in nice and easy. Once it's plugged in, you'll see that this starts to go up. And then it just snaps into place. Installed. I'll go to the back now and hook the battery back up. Alrighty, everything's all installed. I'm going to start the car. I'm just going to drive it around in case there's any learning that the TCU has to do. And I will give you my initial impressions on what I feel, if it shifts a little different, or if I notice anything different. I've never driven with a TCU, so go out and test and see how it is. Well, it goes into gear. That's a major plus. Oh yeah, the 1-2 shift, you can definitely feel it shift a little quicker. Just a hint quicker. I definitely can feel it shifting different in sport mode. I'm in sport mode right now. And the one thing I notice is it keeps the rev up as it goes into the next gear. It doesn't do that with the stock TCM. Let's switch it over to comfort and see if it changes the shifting. Still kind of shifts the same. Little softer in comfort mode. Not very noticeable. Do a little pull here. Not very noticeable on a pull. I'm going to turn the traction and stability off as well right now. I am all-wheel drive. I just want to see if I notice anything. So far, just the shifts have the RPMs almost up a little higher when it shifts. Other than that, it's not too noticeable of a difference just driving around. It's not like banging into gear or anything or doing hard downshifts. Yeah, it feels relatively the same on the downshift. I am in sport mode again. Traction control, stability control turned off. So we'll go out to my private track and give it a test. I'll be honest, it's not super noticeable, but when I hook up the draggy, we'll see if we can beat the stock times. The whole point is to have it shifting quicker, higher shifting pressures, and of course a better launch. Launch is where a lot of guys lose a lot of their time if they're timing quarter miles and 0 to 60. A lot of time is left on the table if you have a bad launch opposed to a good launch. All right, so before I go, I'm going to take my traction and stability off and put it in sport mode. I always turn my auto off, on, off. All right, quick on the throttle, up to 19. Ran out of room. So the first launch off the LAP3 was not good. It felt just like the stock. Went up to about 1900 RPMs. Did a 4.830 0 to 60, and I let off for the quarter mile. That was worse than just off the stock TCU. I did some testing on when the boost starts to build, and at about 2000 RPMs, you're right around that factory boost at about 1.7 pounds. Now, if you feather the throttle a little further, then the boost really starts to pick up. So one of the main things with this TCU, I believe, is going to be practice to hit that sweet spot. My transmission's getting a little hot. Of course, I don't have a cooler on yet, so I'm not going to push it. I also need some E85. I'm going to put some fuel in my car. And for you guys that are always asking about what the mix is, I put about 5.5 gallons, which in Canada is around 20 liters, just over 20 liters. And then I fill the rest up with 91 or 93, depending what I have. This station has 91, so it'll be about 40 liters of 91 or 11 gallons, I guess. And then 5.5 gallons of E or 20 liters. Alrighty, I put my E in first. That's about 5.5 gallons for you US guys. All right, on to the 91. Finding out, just practicing launching without launching, is you probably want to rev up to about 22, 23. After 2000, that's when the boost really kicks in, their hyper launch. You can really see it shoot up, but it shoots up fast after that. That's why you got to feather it and practice just to get it right. So I'll be practicing. I'll also try to paddle shift on a run or two and see if I can shift it right around that 5500. I did notice on that one pull it was still shifting at about 6500-ish when I did that pull. All right, so I'm all fueled up. I'm ready to do a little bit of testing. I think I'm going to just do 0 to 60 pulls until I get used to the launching sequence on the LAP3. There's no sense in doing quarter mile pulls if my 0 to 60s are no good. I have been driving around with the TCU for most of the day, so it's had a chance to learn. The car's had a chance to learn it. I have noticed the shifts have gotten way smoother since I first pulled out of the driveway with it installed. It was shifting with higher RPMs and it was a little jerky. It wasn't super smooth, but now I couldn't even tell the difference between a stock TCU versus this LAP3 just driving around normally. It's pretty impressive in that regard. So I'll flip the camera, get my draggy on, and we'll try some launches. You seen my first attempt was pretty pathetic, but let's try it again. Okay, so this attempt I'm just going to do, like I said, a 0 to 60 pull and see how it goes. I'm just going to test out a few different ways to launch. On this launch, I'm just going to foot on the brake, foot to the floor, and as soon as it hits 2,000, I'm going to let go, and we'll see what happens. So, of course, you can't activate that hyper launch on the LAP3. You got to turn it into sport mode, which I am. Turn off traction and stability. There we go, and we are ready to rock and roll. Let's see what happens. Alrighty. Did a little bit of a four-wheel burnout there. So that launch went well. I did a four-wheel burnout right at the stop. I did a 175 60 foot and a 417 0 to 60, which surprises me. You'd think at a 60 foot that quick, it would have been a faster 0 to 60, but I'll try it again and see if I can get a better time. Alrighty, here we go again. Traction off. Stopped. Took off pretty good there. Felt good. Definitely the technique I'm finding works a lot better is just floor it, watch your RPMs, let go at around 2,000, 2,100, and it takes off great. Okay, on this one, I'm going to try to use the paddle shifters. I'll launch it and then use the paddle shifters. So doing the paddle shift seems to be the best one yet. I got a 396 0 to 60, and that was my first time ever doing it. I was trying to shift it right around 5,500 RPM, so I try to click it just before that so it would shift around to 55. So I'll try it a couple more times, see if I can get that time. All right, let's try a paddle shift launch. I'm gonna try for 21, 2200. We're done testing. I'll give you my pros and my cons list and tell you what I think. I'll be honest, I'm not super impressed with it, but there is some variables to it. So let's go into them. Let's go over the pros list first. The pros, it shifts nice, it's crisp. There's no jerking of downshifts or throwing you back and forth in your seat. So that's a huge pro. It has great launch control, a lot better than the stock launch control. You can easily go up to 4 or 5 pounds of boost and it takes off like nothing. You heard on the one draggy video, I had a little bit of a four-wheel spin there. So it's putting lots of power down. It's quicker on the paddles when you shift. It responds a little bit quicker. It is noticeable that it will grab that next gear a little bit quicker. So that is a plus. LAP3 also has a great reputation. You know you're getting a good product when you buy a LAP3. That's a definite pro. From the stock TCU and the stock launch control versus the LAP3 and their hyper launch control, I was able to shave 0.8 of a second off. So I think I did a 4.8 or a 4.77 off the stock launch control, and my best time with the LAP3 launch control paddle shifting, I did a 3.98. So that's a huge plus. So let's go over the cons of the LAP3 that I found. The first con is the obvious, is the price. It is extremely expensive. It will run you about $1,500 US. which is pretty crazy considering there is alternatives out there for $100 to $200. Another con is when you pair this particular TCU with the JB4, I didn't notice much difference. Of course, I did shave 0.8 of a second off from the launches, but if I was running my boost launch harness and my stock TCU, I've done a 378. I wasn't even able to get to 378 off LAP3 TCU and their launch control. So that to me is a con, but on the other side, I believe if you pair this LAP3 up with an ECU, that's when this thing really shines. A JB4, maybe not so much, but if you're planning on going up to an ECU, this is probably a must-have to complete your combo. Another con I would say is there's a lot of hype on LAP3 and their TCU. I don't know, I haven't tried like a torque TCU, but for the price point, maybe I'm more inclined to try that out. Unless you're planning on tuning your car, of course, with LAP3, then I would definitely want to probably pair both of them. That's just my OCD, but I'd probably want a LAP3 TCU ECU combo. Other than that, I don't really have any other pros or cons for this. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped some of you guys out there decide if you're looking at TCU tunes, what you can expect. The big question on my thumbnail is LAP3 worth the price tag? Well, in my opinion, I wouldn't pay full price for a LAP3 TCU unless I was doing an ECU tune. If I was doing an ECU tune, I would gladly pay full price for the combo. But if I'm just planning on running a JB4 and I wanted to shave some time off, I don't know if I can honestly justify the $1,500, especially when there's alternatives out there. Is LAP3 a safe TCU? Absolutely, if you use it correctly. They do have the directions. We went over it in the video of what they suggest on how to use it. But still, the price point is just a little much for my liking. Other than that, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. If you're running a LAP3 TCU with a JB4 combo, let me know what your best 0 to 60 time is and how you launch it. Other than that, I will see you guys on the next one.